As all of you may know, Starbucks has been going through a lot of controversy recently. In order to understand what's truly been going on, we have decided to dive deeper into this case. On April 12th of this year, two black men, Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson, were arrested at a local Starbucks in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Reporters said the two men were there for a business meeting, waiting for a potential partner. However, they did not purchase any beverages. After asking an employee to use the restroom, the employee stated the restroom was for customer use only. Therefore, in order to use it, they would have to purchase a food or drink item. The two men understood and sat back down on their table and continued to wait. A few minutes passed and the police officers entered the store. After talking with the manager, the police approached Nelson and Robinson and asked them to leave. The police officers reasoned that since they were not paying customers, they had no business in being there. After arguing back and forth for a bit and refusing to leave, the men were arrested. They were taken to a police station where their charges for trespassing and disturbing the peace were eventually dropped later that evening. A woman in the Starbucks, Melissa DePino, had captured the incident on video and had shared it to social media, where it soon went viral. Thousands of people have responded blaming Starbucks of racial biases. As the days go on, more and more events have taken place in lieu of the possible racially charged incident.
The CEO of Starbucks, Kevin Johnson, issued a statement quickly following up the incident to apologize to the men and showcase what Starbucks is doing to make sure an event like this never occurs again. He was very apologetic and sympathetic to the men involved. He said, quote, "I'll say the circumstances surrounding the incident and the outcome at our store on Thursday were reprehensible," end quote. He continued to say, quote, "They were wrong, and for that I personally apologize to the gentleman that visited our store," end quote. Starbucks is using this opportunity to reevaluate their policies and to take a closer look at training and development. This can refer to the category mortification in Benoit's image restoration theory. According to Benoit, mortification is when an individual admits fault, apologizes for an action, and asks for forgiveness. On April 15th, protests emerged outside the downtown Philadelphia Starbucks. People arrived carrying signs with the hashtag BLM, which stands for Black Lives Matter. Protesters encouraged people across the country to take part by not buying coffee from any of Starbucks locations.
We can also see mortification being played out on Good Morning America when Starbucks Chief Executive Officer Kevin Johnson went on GMA on April 16th to address the issue head-on and to give a face to the name. By doing this, Johnson is managing the crisis the best way he can. He is addressing the issue by apologizing on behalf of the company and taking corrective action to make things right again. Corrective action, another category in the image restoration theory, is the process by which a person pledges to remedy a situation by either restoring it to its original state or engaging in some other activity that will prevent the situation from occurring again in the future. This has been seen throughout the case study. For example, on April 17, 2018, Starbucks tweeted they were going to close more than 8,000 company-owned stores from the East to West Coast to train their employees on how to avoid racial bias and discrimination on May 29th of this year. Starbucks issued a press release on their website from their CEO, further apologizing and addressing the situation head-on in video form. Starbucks is attempting to control the situation by taking action to make things right again.
On April 19th, the two men went on Good Morning America with their lawyer to tell their story 3 days after the Starbucks CEO appeared on the network. They showcased that they were working with Johnson through mediated conversations to come to an agreement. Following in a press release on May 2nd, Starbucks said a confidential financial settlement was made and they offered Robinson and Nelson to complete their undergraduate degrees through the Starbucks College Achievement Plan at Arizona State University.
In order to measure how well Starbucks has been doing on correcting their actions and dealing with this less than ideal situation, we look to the consumers. We can look at comments on Starbucks' official Twitter and Facebook pages. Starbucks seems to be interacting with anyone who poses a question to make sure all ground is covered. By having an interactive presence on social media, it can increase customer satisfaction. Google Trends can show us how many people are searching for the term Starbucks and if any other words such as hate, racism, and discrimination are Googled with it. However, looking at the stats, there is no direct correlation between Starbucks and any hateful words we tried.
Events following this incident are still in the works. The stores are scheduled to close on May 29th. It will be interesting to see how Starbucks employees learn during this time and how consumers will be affected. As of today, people are still angry about how the incident occurred, but overall seem to be responding well to Starbucks' promises to work with the men involved and employees. Starbucks in the past have shown themselves to be a credible company, so their overall decent reputation has helped them when moving forward during this time of crisis, according to Timothy Coombs' situational crisis communication theory. Throughout this whole period, Starbucks never tried to hide, deny, or avoid responsibility as well, improving their overall credibility and likability with consumers.